or employee compensation rules. So we start with the Environmental Protection Act and Environmental Protection Rules. So we have seen till uh, rule number 4, 3, and 5A. So we can start from section number 10.2. Okay, every person handling the hazardous substance shall be allow access to SPCB, State Pollution Control Board, for performing the entrusted functions or for the inspection of provisions of the Act and being compiled with for seizing any plant or record, etc., in the case of any provisions of the Act or contradicted. So it is a straightforward. So the waste which we are generating, we should allow the Pollution Control Board for any kind of inspections if it is required. Okay. So they will seize the plant or operations or records if any specific requirement is not meeting or not following. Then the occupier of the industrial establishment should provide to the central government or any officer employed by it for taking a sample of air, water, or soil or any substances from the industrial establishment for analysis. So here, the occupier of industrial establishment should provide access to the central or any officer empowered by it taking the samples. So they should not restrict any official if at all they want to have any samples to assess the performance of the organization or the stags or the emissions or water samples which they are discharging to the environment. So they should not disobey that requirement. They have to allow the officers to take the samples. Then the occupier should receive a notice of intention in form 1 for the purpose of analyzing the air sample or water or soil or substances from the factory. This will see what it is. Rule number 7. Service of notice. The central government of officer empowered shall serve in an occupier or his aged person in charge of place notice and there in form 1 of his intention to have a sample analyzed. So they will send a letter or notice saying that they have to analyze the samples which they have collected. The central government will have a right to do that. Then any person who contravenes with the section 7 and 8 shall be liable to pay the penalty as prescribed by the act. Okay, we'll see section 7 and 8. Okay. Section 7, it is talking about no person carrying any industrial operations or process shall discharge or emit or permit to be discharged or emitted by the environmental pollutants in excess of such standards as may be prescribed. Okay. So whatever the standards which they have defined, for example, air quality, they will define certain ppms. So water quality, they will define certain parameters. TDS should be this or pH should be this and etc. They should not exceed that concentrations or limits. Then no person shall handle or cause to be handled any hazardous substances except in accordance with such procedure and after complying with such safeguards as may be prescribed. Okay, they have to handle the hazardous waste in such a manner as the procedures are defined by the regulatory. Otherwise, if they are not meeting that, they will be penalized. Any person who contravenes 9, 10, and 11 Act shall be liable to pay penalty as prescribed by the Act. Again, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. We have seen 9 is talking about where the discharge of any industrial pollutant in the excess of the prescribed standards occurs or in a prehended to occur due to any accident or other unforeseen act, even the person responsible for such discharge and the person in charge of the place at which such discharge occurs or is prehended to occur shall bound to prevent or mitigate that environmental pollution caused as a result of such discharge and shall be with immediate the fact of such occurrence and also apprehension of such occurrence and be bound if called upon to render all the assistance to such authorities or agencies as may be prescribed. So in the case of any spillage happens, they have to immediately act on preventing or mitigating the effects of that spillage. And also on receipt of information with respect to the fact or apprehension of the occurrence or nature refer to the subsection 1, whether through intimation under the subsection 1 or otherwise, the authorities or agencies preferred in subsection 1 shall always clearly as practicable cause such remedial measures to be taken as necessary to prevent or mitigate the environmental pollutions. So they also will be involved in the prevention or mitigation of such causes. And also the expenses of any incurred by any authority or agency with respect to the remedial measures preferred in subject to together with interest at such reasonable rate as a government may be order fixed from date when the demand for that expenses is made until is paid by the recovered by such authority or agency from the person concerned or arrears of the land or revenue or public demand. So here, whatever the expenses which they get for the recovery or the remedial action or mitigation actions which the agencies have taken care, so those expenses has to be paid by the unit head itself. Okay. Then section 10, subject to provision of this section, any person empowered by the central government in this behalf shall have a right to enter all the reasonable times with such assistance as may be considered necessary. So, power of the people or authority, somebody nominated by the government, they have right to enter any time to the premises for the purpose of performing any functions of central government entrusted to him, which means the roles or responsibilities which are assigned by the central government to that particular person to do that activities for the purpose of determining whether and if so in what manner any such functions are to be performed or whether any provisions of this act or rules made thereunder or any notice or directions or authorization served made given or granted under this act is being or has been compelled with, and also for the purpose of examining and testing the equipments, industrial plants, records, registers, documents, etc. So there they have to allow the particular persons to enter their premises, to verify the documents, and also to perform their duties. Otherwise, they will be penalized. If the organization is not supporting, sometimes they restrict or they resist to enter the officers inside the premises. In such a cases, they have to allow. Okay. Then 11. So the central government or any officer empowered by the it in the behalf of shall have to take for the purpose of any analysis or samples of air, water, soil, and other substances from any factory premises or other place in such a manner as prescribed. They have to allow. So all they also have the power to take the samples from the sites. If you are not allowing them or if you are not giving any uh, what do you call support for the taking of such samples, you will be penalized. Okay. That is the requirement. And any person who contravenes with the act on rules, orders, or directions shall be liable to pay penalty as per this section 15 again. Section 15. Who fails to with the contravention of this specific act, whoever fails to comply with the contraventions of any provisions of this act, which means any requirement of this act or rules made under or directions issues thereunder, shall in respect of each such failure or the contravention be punishable with imprisonment or for a term which may extend to 5 years or which or fine which may extend to 1 lakh rupees or sometimes with a both in the case of any failure or contravention continues in additional fine which may extend to the 5,000 rupees for every day during which the failure or contravention continues after the conviction for the first such failure or contravention. So basically, if anybody fails to do that, they'll be penalized with 1 lakh rupees or for imprisonment of 5 years or sometimes both in the case of any contravention. One second, guys. Just a second, please. Sorry, monkeys are entered inside the house. Okay, fine. So anyone one failed to meet these requirements under this act. So as I said, 5 years of imprisonment and 1 lakh rupees. If it continues, then what will happen? For from the day one, for example, first contravention which has happened in last year, same day, 17th 8 2024. Then after that they will be penalized. Then again they started the same practice. From that day they will charge every day 5,000 rupees. So that is going to be huge. So nobody tried to do that because money is money for everybody, even it is in an organization or any individual human. So the first attempt they'll get a penalization of 1 lakh rupees or imprisonment. Mostly they'll go with penalization. If it is continuous, they may charge with both. And also, if it is a repetition again and again from next day or from the last attempt, on which day they have first non-complaints, from there they will charge 5,000 rupees. So an aggrieved person can appeal to the notice or National Green Tribunal in the case of not satisfied by the orders or uh, adjudicating officer. So in the case of non adjustment or not agreeing any orders, you can appeal with the Green Tribunal.
Sir, it is better to increase or zoom the screen size, sir.
Okay.
The letters were visible very small.
Ah, fine. Even presentation also. This one also.
Not this one before.
Okay, fine.
I think you are using laptop, that's why.
Yeah, I'm using laptop. Mobile and all
system.
we can't. Yeah, yeah. Okay. Okay, sure. So here, and I say appeal, it is every legal requirements. So it gives a chance for the occupier also to fight against the orders which are given by the authorities. Because sometimes the intentional issues or the authorities have another, I mean, thought process behind. They may give us the notices. To tackle those notices, you have a chance to appeal, in the sense filing a case or reaching the higher level officials saying that they are not accepting that orders. The occupier of the factory should comply with the directions issued by the CPCB, I mean, State Pollution Control Board, for the closure, a prohibition, or any industry operations or processes, or stoppage of supply or electricity or water or other services. So, in the case of
These are,
PCB
sir,
or
these are all
non-compliant,
important points, sir.
sorry,
Sir, these are all important points, sir.
these all are legal requirements under environmental protection rules you have to follow in your organization.
Okay, okay.
Okay. So, in the case of any orders or directions which comes from pollution control board, sometimes any non-compliance they may direct to stoppage of water or any electricity or any other services. So, you have to accept. And no person in the industrial premises should discharge or emit any industrial pollutant in excess which do not comply with the prescribed standards as specified in Schedule 1 to 4. So, regarding this specified standards, we have standard these things, and also you will have the your industry specific pollutants also. For them, for that also, they will give the limitation in your CFO itself. So if you see the schedules or annexures in your CFOs, there we can see such limitations. Standards and emissions or discharge of pollutants. So here they're talking about for the purpose of protecting and improving the quality of the environment and preventing and abating environmental pollution. The standards for emissions or discharges or environmental pollutants from industries, operations or process shall be specified under Schedule 1 to 4. So beyond such limits, we are not supposed to emit or not supposed to discharge. Okay, we'll see any example. Hmm, the schedules are not here. No, the schedules are not covered here. Okay, that is the another requirement. Then water. So this is also another requirement from the PCCB. So obtain consent to establish from state board under the subsection 1 shall be made a form with the particulars and also prescribed fees for any industry or process, operational or with the discharges and also sewage. So here is the license requirement. Okay, I'll just unshare and I'll reshare again. I have to switch to another PDF. And I'll show you the sample this thing also, CFO also, so that you'll have clear idea. So when we talk about CFO or the PCB approvals, we have set of requirements or specific sections. Under specific sections, we have to get the approvals. So if you see, this is in CFO, consent for operation, air and water. So here the consent is hereby granted under section 25 and subsection 4 of Water Prevention and Control Pollution Act 1974, and also section 21 of Air Prevention and Control of Pollution Act 1981. Based on these two sections, you will supposed to get the consent for operation, okay, which is nothing but CFO. So here you'll have the every detail, and also here you'll have the limitations of your pollutants also. Here you'll have uh, the noise pollution, how much you are supposed to emit or generate the noise, and also you have the limitations. These are the PCB limitations. So fugitive emissions, what are such, and also spraying machines, 3D printing machine, this is an example, and fire pump, what are the NOx levels. Okay, that is how you will get the limitations of your pollutants to the atmosphere. If you have any this thing, you will also have the effluent also, which is comes from your operations. So here the domestic purpose water consumption also. Okay, STP of 10 KLD capacity, it will be used for the gardening purpose. Okay, so the requirement is under water, which is 25, section 25, and air, it is under section 21. Based on these sections, you will get the license. We'll see that section also in the ongoing. So this is also same requirement under 25, 22, and also 26. The license supposed to be get. And also, if any accident or unforeseen act, any poisonous or polluting matter is being discharged in any industry, operation or process, or any treatment and disposal system, then in charge of such place immediately report to the state pollution control board and other concerned authorities. So, in the case of any accident or any poisonous or polluting matter is being discharged in any industry, immediately we have to inform to the concerned authority and pollution control board. That is a straight away requirement. Then a person in charge of any industrial establishment should provide the information regarding the construction, installation, or operation or disposal system of such establishments to CPCB for preventing or controlling the pollution of the water under section 20.3. So they should provide information regarding the constructions and installations. It is nothing but what kind of treatment facilities you are installed, what is the technology you are using for the prevention of water pollution and control. For example, you are generating effluent. There are two types of effluent: process effluent and domestic effluent. For the process effluent you will have the STPs, sorry, ETPs. For the domestic effluent you will have STPs. And also there they have different kinds of technologies in those ETPs and STPs, what kind of method you are choosing or you have installed. Then the occupier of the industrial establishment should provide access to the pollution control board, any officer or empowered by it, for taking samples of water or effluent from industrial establishments. So these Water and Air Act, which is subsequent acts of Environmental Protection Act. So there also it is in a overall hierarchy. So there, Environmental Protection Act will be in the one step away. So based on those Environmental Protection Act, this Water Act and Air Act has been introduced. Likewise, if there, they also mentioned that collection of samples to be allowed by the occupier. So same way, as per this also, they have to allow the for taking samples. And also the occupier shall provide access to the pollution control board for performing functions or inspections of ascertained provision of this act, being compiled or seizing any plant or records or reasons to believe that provisional of this act is contravenished. Same way, in the case of any non-compliance or non-fulfillment of these requirements, so they can seize or any operations or records. We have to allow them. Then no person in the industrial premises should discharge knowingly any effluent into any stream or well or sewer or land which do not comply with the standards laid down by the pollution control board. So they should not discharge any water into any stream beyond the limits which they have set by the pollution control board. Then the occupier should apply for renewal of CTO industrial operations before the expiry of validity period to the pollution control board along with the prescribed form and fees. An application of renewal of CTO industrial operation shall be made in form 8. So here it is nothing but CTO and CFO, both are same. In especially in the north side of India they call it as CTO. In south side we used to call it as CFO. It is consent to operate or consent for operation. These both are same. Okay, it has to be renewed on before expiry. So I'll show you how this. So this is issue on 2022. You'll also have the validity, I think. Yeah. So here it is, validity up to 2031. Okay. Almost they have given for 10 years. Before expiry, you have to do this. Uh, I mean, the period of this validations or the approvals may differ from state to state. So it is not this that every state will give for 10 years, and depends on nature of operations and also their local state specific things, they will issue that. We'll see this section, anything is there. All these are straightforward requirements. And apart from these standard points, you should also cover the reference points in this section so that you can create the notes. Yeah.
Sir, here hazard waste, all these things are also mentioned. Na?
In the CFO,
Hazard waste, biomedical waste.
yes, yes, yes. That also they will mention. If waste is there, they will mention. Otherwise, it is not the case. Or else they will mention these general provisions. So whatever the occupier shall segregate the solid waste from hazardous waste or municipal waste or store in a properly till treatment disposal or without polluting the surroundings. They'll mention the waste also. I think in this organization they are not having any specific waste with respect to that. That is why it is not here. I'll try to get one more CFO during the break time so that I'll show you that provision as well. Here they will mention total amount of water and also what are the raw materials you're using, and also they will have your production capacity per year, and also what are the effluents you will generate, and what kind of treatment mechanism you are planning to do, and what kind of installations you are having, and apart from that, after the treatment, for what purpose you are using that water, that also you have to clearly define. So I do a treatment, then I will discharge, or I will reuse in the process, or I use that water for a gardening purpose. That also they will clearly specify. And even they also mention the noise details as well. Okay. And waste disposal, types of waste and their expected quantities, and over and above what kind of disposal method you are disposing, either incineration, landfilling, or reusing it, or recycling. All those details will be there in the CFO.
Safety licenses comes under which section, sir?
Safety.
Safety licenses comes under which section, sir?
So when you say safety license, I didn't understand what exactly safety license means.
Somebody told some interviews asking safety licenses. Those safety licenses comes under which section?
No, I didn't come across with any such word safety license. మీరు ఎక్కడైనా విన్నారా సేఫ్టీ లైసెన్స్ అంటే? నేను ఎప్పుడు వినలేదు సేఫ్టీ లైసెన్స్ అని. లైసెన్స్ అంటే మనకి ఏముంటుంది? ఫ్యాక్టరీ లైసెన్స్ ఉంటుంది, ఫైర్ ఎన్ఓసి ఉంటుంది, పీసీబీ నుంచి లైసెన్స్ ఉంటుంది, లేదంటే మీరు ఏదైనా హజార్డస్ కెమికల్స్ దాని నుంచి ఉంటుంది. మీరు ఏమైనా గ్యాస్ సిలిండర్స్ యూస్ చేస్తుంటే పెసో నుంచి మీకు లైసెన్స్ ఉంటుంది, లేదంటే మీరు డీజిల్ ఏమన్నా యూస్ చేస్తుంటే మీకు పెసో నుంచి లైసెన్స్ ఉంటుంది, లేదంటే మీరు ఏదన్నా హైలీ పాయిజనస్ కెమికల్స్ యూస్ చేస్తుంటే పాయిజనస్ కెమికల్స్ యాక్ట్ నుంచి మీకు లైసెన్స్ ఉంటుంది. సేఫ్టీ లైసెన్స్ అనేది నాకు ఎక్కడ వినిపించలేదు. సేఫ్టీ లైసెన్స్ అంటే ఏంటి?
Okay, sir. These are all, I think, comes under the safety licenses. These safety licenses comes under which section, sir? I think this IS 105, sir.
Yes, all this comes under IS 105 itself. 105 is a paper topic. In that, we have Factories Act, we have Fire, we have Environmental Protection Act, which we are discussing, we have Air Act, Water Act. Based on all these acts, you will get the licenses.
The certificate is nothing but licenses, sir.
Sorry,
In some,
come again.
you said before classes, the certificate is nothing but license.
Yes,
You
the
told
certificate is nothing
before
but license.
classes.
Yes, yes. Okay.
Sir, could you please share these legal requirements, sir?
Which one? This
All this,
presentation,
sir.
right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
This-
What I do is, I mean, once we're done with this section, Chaitanya, I will create the PDF and I'll give it to you.
Okay.
I'll share with the institute. They will share with you. These are the current requirements actually. Maybe
that's what,
I
sir.
suggest we are not supposed to use for any future references. It might change, but not to an extent that okay, 50-50 changes will be there, max to max 10 to 15% of changes, or sometimes not even that much. I mean, variation also will not be there, because these all are standard requirements, except any the wording or any additional requirements comes in. Otherwise, these are the standard requirements.
Okay, okay, sir.
Yeah, I'll give this. Otherwise, it will be, I mean, no use of uh, attending.
No,
Okay.
especially we haven't received any of your this one, sir. Your classes, any PPT, we haven't received anything.
Okay, okay. I'll give this, because here only the sections. I mean, I have downloaded the all the requirements also, the PDFs. Along with that, I'll give this PDF also, because I'm highlighting in the PDFs, right? I'll give those PDFs
Right,
as well.
right, sir. Please, sir.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, we have 1 more minute. So, what is the section? Yeah, the occupier shall apply for a renewal, which is section 26. Renewal provision regarding the discharge, refused withdrawal of consent board, appeals. Where it is a renewal, we have to. Where immediately before commencement of this, the provision of discharge of sewage trade effluents into the stream, land, or water under section 25. So this is about the refusal of withdrawal. We'll see. Section 26. This is the section 26. Any other reference? Searching the sections itself will take so much of time.